monetize, laptop on the sand. Dreaming of a school drive, build it hand in hand. Summer vans with the blueprint, wisdom in the flow. Keep it simple, keep it steady, let the people grow.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to today's edition of just our weekly update of what's going on in the world of communities. Partner Ron is right here. Ron, how's your day going so far, bud?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. It's a good day. It's getting close to the end of the year. A lot of times, people want to kind of do a year in review. So that's kind of what we thought we would do here. So kind of as we come to the end of 2025, we want to look back upon the year, kind of share some of the cool things that we did in 2025. More importantly, some of the amazing things that people in our community did, the members in our elite program did. So I want to share some of those with you. Just kind of have a little conversation back and forth. I think the biggest thing that's taken place is this massive growth with Skool. I guess it's just really, when you look at what Alex did, I think with his $100 million book launch, just seemed to be a massive growth right there. So inside that, we're going to take you to some of the awesome features that were changed in Skool, some of the new things, talk a little bit about high level, and then, of course, kind of going back and forth with you and some of your input and that kind of thing. Obviously, milestones are going to be fun, talking about some things that our clients did. So I do find it a little funny. So what are your thoughts on resolutions? I know a lot of people kind of come to the end of a year and they start reevaluating everything. And they start putting in kind of the resolution concept. What's your take on those?
Well, from my experience, they don't last very long. I don't know if I've ever really done resolutions. I think they're just kind of bullshit, to be honest. What are your thoughts on them?
So I made a resolution probably about 15, 16 years ago, probably somewhere right around 2010, that I would make no more resolutions. And it's the one I've actually kept. So I literally do not make resolutions. It's kind of funny because I know a lot of people look at the year and they kind of come to the end of it. And it's like all of a sudden something kind of ends and begins. And, I just kind of don't look at it that way. I just kind of think this infinite journey just keeps going. So I don't really like the idea of these start-stop concepts. I do think you need to do reviews and things like that. I do kind of live my life on a 13-week year. So every 13 weeks to me, I treat as a year. So I do have those type of evaluations, but I don't look at
What's
it.
What's that book, the 12 week? What is it?
12 week year. Yeah, the 12-week year.
12-week year, yeah.
Yeah,
it's a good book.
It's a great book. Awesome, for sure.
Yeah, so, I think people who try to plan their whole year in advance, it's kind of defeating the purpose because everything's going to change in that quarter anyway. So I love that kind of framework to build your year around, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the other part about it is, I think sometimes if you have these long year type processes, I just think that people have a tendency to kind of procrastinate because in their mind, they're like, oh, I still have more time. I have more time. And there's something about making and kind of forcing things to happen in those, I call 13 weeks because it's technically 13 a quarter, but the 12-week concept, because you put a triggered a deadline that's so much quicker. Mm-hmm. And I just have a tendency for myself. And again, it works really well for me to not procrastinate as much or put things off, and I think the other aspect of it is in those 4 quarters of each year is being able to really say, hey, in this quarter, this is my, top 3 focal points. And in a way, it gives you kind of 12 of those for the year, where sometimes people, they'll put 4 or 5 kind of big things for the year and they don't necessarily know how to prioritize that kind of stuff. So I just like the concept of kind of a quarterly program, treating it like a year. And I think it's worked out, really well for me. So speaking of kind of the idea of quarters and things like that, I know we have some exciting things coming first quarter, which we're going to share a little bit later. But let's kind of talk a little bit about, the kind of the new features, shall we say, that we've seen happen mostly in Skool. There hasn't been a whole lot in high level. We can kind of sum it up probably in a couple quick ththings. One is they did change the login, which is great. The login is
now it's not a pain in the ass to log in. So that's good.
Which is good. And then I think just adding the Go Collab, kind of the app and the kind of the process they were trying to get with that, I think was good. But I don't know, there's been anything that stands out. Is there anything that kind of stands out about kind of what they did as far as high level did?
Honestly, Honestly, it's more bug fixes than anything. I mean, there were some huge bugs that got fixed over the course of the year, but it's nowhere. I mean, if we just kind of weigh Skool versus Go High Level, and I just did a video on YouTube. Everybody should check it out if you're trying to decide between these two platforms. But while Skool is like adding features, it seems like High Level is fixing features. So it's kind of, the race has been won, I think. So I think there's a lot of cool stuff that happened with Skool, though. I think some of my favorite, the analytics are like, you've got to be pretty advanced to be able to read those analytics. So we'll be digging into those a little bit more next year and helping people kind of decipher those and figure those out. They are going to be releasing the actual analytics that show you your traffic sources, which I think is going to be massive next year. That's what I'm excited about. I'm kind of waiting on that. I think the live feature is cool. I think it adds convenience. It also can help you save some money and not having to get Zoom necessarily. Trying to think. Oh, tiers. I think tiers was probably the one release that I think made the most impact across the platform, in my opinion. What are your thoughts on that, Wajid?
Yeah, no, I would agree. Tiers was huge. I mean, I think streaming conceptually is great. Obviously we're streaming some tomorrow. We'll tell you about it in a few minutes. But so yeah, I mean, I like the idea of streaming. They launched their affiliate program, which I know a lot of people aren't using, but I just think there's so much upside for that. I think the one thing that they did this year that I think had a lot of impact was that hobby plan. When you kind of think about the affordability factor, they basically made it to where, I mean, for $9, I mean, I don't know who can't afford $9 to, kind of basically do something amazing for their business. So I think that along with the tiers, kind of that whole freemium concept, I think those two combined just opened up the platform for just so many people, which is why I think that, we've seen, I don't even know what it is, a 10x growth, maybe a 50x growth for them.
It's way bigger than that.
It's massive. It's crazy. And I think one of the things that intrigues me about Skool is you're starting to see some fairly big names and mainstream people. I mean, we saw Tony Robbins and Dean, open one up. You got billionaires like Tom Bilyeu now are on it. I mean, you're starting to see, people that don't necessarily need to have a school. And I think that is what's making it really incredible. And it's just making the platform just grow like crazy. So I'm excited about that. And I think that Skool proved this year that they are not just in the community game, they're the leading, setting the pace for everybody. And I don't know that anybody will really ever catch up. I mean, they're just the way they structure things and so forth. So obviously we can talk, we're blue in the face about how much we love Skool, but it really is an incredible platform.
Yeah, I think I don't know Circle's numbers and Mighty Networks or any of those other platforms. I know High Levels because I looked it up the other day. And I think it was last month, it's just traffic alone, last month to Go Collab, which is High Level's answer to Skool. It's like their discovery platform and their mobile app. So there was, I think, 40,000 visitors to the Skool or to Go Collab. Guess how many were to Skool?
I know it's in the millions. I don't even know the
20 million.
Yeah, that's just.
And I think Sam was talking about the numbers yesterday on Skool News, which is a great podcast to watch. I think they're at 20 million users. So just people using the platform. I think they have 200,000 community owners, and they're growing at 1 million new users per month.
Wow.
So the platform is growing. And again, I don't know numbers on Circle and some of these others, but I mean, I think the fact that I'd also kind of reverse engineered what they were doing as far as marketing wise. They were running hundreds of thousands of dollars of ads every single day. And Evelyn's running those. So, they're growing from an ads perspective. Plus they've got one of the biggest influencers in the internet marketing space, which Alex Hormozi is one of their main investors. And his book launch, I don't know how many people watched that thing, but we made over $100 million in a weekend. And one of the offers was getting people on the platform. So I think all of those things combined are that their growth trajectory is going to far outpace anyone else, in my opinion. So,
I agree. And I'm not, there's always a balance here, but one of the things I would say is that, like, Sam from the very beginning has said that his goal is to connect 1 billion people.
mm-hmm.
And I just feel like when a company has like that type of a vision and they just keep striving for that, I just feel like they just work so like intently to make that happen that you just see a ton of success. And if I look at something like High Level, again, we love High Level. We use it every day. I mean, so there's nothing negative about the platform from a standpoint of like what they do. We love it. It's just, that's not their mission. Their mission seems to be a little bit more on, the idea of kind of just being an awesome marketing machine, integrating AI. And I just think you can kind of see the difference between somebody who has this vision of saying, hey, we want to connect 1 billion people, on a platform, in a company that says, hey, we're going to have an amazing CRM, an amazing, marketing machine. We're going to integrate AI, and you just kind of see the difference of why one is just so committed to make, community so much more powerful. And again, I don't know the numbers either with Skool or Mighty Networks. I'm actually in a couple, like circle communities, people that, that I follow or books I bought, and they, invite you to their circle. And, it's fine. I don't think anything's wrong with it. There's just something kind of fun about Skool, just a vibe to it, I guess.
It's definitely a different vibe. And they set the culture, right? That's kind of the idea of it.
Exactly.
I would also say that they've done a good job at, when they first started, partially because of Alex Hormozi and Sam Ovens, who both have, kind of a big name in the industry, in the space that we're in, internet marketing. The initial communities that were on there were all internet marketing, how to make money online types of communities. And I think with the community, with the hobby plan, with also the way that they're marketing, and if you look at some of their ads, they're like calling out a lot of people in different spaces. They've done a good job at bringing in people that are starting communities in different niches. So hobby type things, crochet things. They were talking about some community that has witches in there or something like that. One that's a donkey nail trimming community. So lots of different, like, strange but also interesting niches that are starting communities on there. So that's kind of interesting to look at. I always like to see something weird that makes money. Like, I'm always like, there's no way that's going to make money, and then it amazes me. So I guess you can make money with just about anything.
I think so, man. I had a friend of mine a few years back. He literally bought used lamps, like garage sales, I guess, and he had literally a used lamp store, and he made a couple $1,000 a month by doing nothing more than picking up this, putting a lampshade on it. And I don't know about lamps. I mean, I just turned.
I got friends that do that off of Facebook Marketplace. So yeah.
That's crazy. Crazy, man. Very, very cool. So I know this year we had some pretty big milestones, and again, guys, this isn't designed to brag. I just want to kind of share with you like the power of like putting in the hard work, putting in the effort. For those of you guys who don't know, Ron well enough, you need to, because he's an awesome dude. But like, he lives and breathes community builders. And you can see it because this year we've literally, our free community, I believe, is close to 4x. We're over 8,000 members. The last 12 months. I mean, that's just kind of crazy when you think about all the effort it takes to get to that number. I do look forward to the more tighter analytics and where that's coming from and things like that. But I know it's because of the YouTube channel and the things that we do, and the things really that you've put so much time into. I know our revenue's grown. Don't know the exact numbers, but I know it's probably close to double or more. Obviously 26, we plan to be even bigger. I love the implementation of the boot camp. We did 2 boot camps this past year. We started them, basically I guess it was probably in June, and then we've done 2 of those, and that's had just huge impact, not just from a training standpoint, a fun thing for us to do. It's been amazing for the clients, which is really great.
Just a couple of things on there, just so people know what that is. It's our 10K community boot camp. It's basically, the idea is it's 8 weeks of implementation. So our process is kind of spread out over 8 weeks. And each week we give pre-recorded training on one step of our process. And then on Tuesdays, we go live to help our members implement that step of the process. They get homework afterwards, and their job is to take that action step that we give them, finish it for the week, post their homework, and the wins that they made for the week. And then we move on to the next step until we're through the 8 weeks and we've completed the 10K community blueprint build, right? And at that point, we've given them the tools and everything they need to build a 10K plus community per month. Now it's kind of up to them to kind of implement and continue the process and keep it going. But the cool thing about what we've done in the past year, or the past 2 times, is that we've given them full access for an entire year. We do these boot camps every single quarter. So we're going to continue to let people to do that until December 31st, and then everything changes. So if you guys are interested in the 10K community boot camp and getting a full year's access, this is your last opportunity, the next 14 days. So we're changing that, but it's been a really cool experience. We've had some awesome wins. One of our clients, or one of our members, Stacy Turner, had her first viral video on YouTube. I think it's over 136,000 views now. And she went from like 25 subscribers to now over 4,000 subscribers in a month, using some of our strategies that we teach in that boot camp. So that's been awesome. Had a few clients that got their first 15 paid members, first 11 paid members. Some of those were annuals. I think that was over like $11,000 in revenue that she generated just from, I think she was in the 3rd or 4th week of the boot camp. So it's been pretty cool to watch people that have barely implemented in the past. And they tell me all the time, I've spent thousands of dollars on coaching programs and I've never got as much done as we did in this 8 weeks for, a tenth of the price that I've paid. So it's been a really cool thing. I'm glad we did it. I'll explain why we did it. I think that'll be cool for people to hear. So when you have a community and you're just doing monthly MRR, at a certain point you will grow big enough to where your churn is hard to overcome. So you're gaining as many people as you're losing every month. So say you're at 250 people and you're adding 25 people per month, but 10% of your 250 people are leaving each month. So you're just to break even, you need to be bringing in 25 new paid members every month. So until you kind of scale your traffic, that becomes hard to do. So how do you make more money once that happens? Because you're kind of just staying even. Well, one of the ways you do it is you try to get those monthly members to convert to annual members. And so to do that, we wanted to make our annual offer really, really valuable. So the way that we thought about doing that was implementing we know that live implementation is very valuable to people because they have you there to kind of walk them through the process to make sure that they're actually doing things, hold them accountable. And it works. I mean, the boot camp we've proven that live implementation model works really well to get people to do things. So we implemented it, we promoted it multiple, like in our paid community to get people up to upgrade, but also in our free community to get people to buy the annual. And so that helped us to increase our revenue pretty substantially because, we get to defeat the churn for the next 12 months, right? So that's kind of why we implemented it. And if you're kind of hitting that plateau, it might be a good strategy for you guys to implement as well. So anyway, thought that might be interesting for people.
No, super interesting. And I think it's key for everybody to understand that, like, at the end of the day, there's kind of 2 core metrics that you really want to pay attention to. One is, what does it cost for you to acquire a client, right? Like, you have to spend $100 to get a client, $200, $500, whatever the number is, right? But I think the second one that's massive is what's the lifetime value of that customer? And I think that, when we integrate this idea of a boot camp and we really get so many people upgrading to the annual, we just seen that our lifetime value increase, tremendously. The other aspect of it, and this is something that I know is just in our hearts, it's just like, we don't want to be a program somebody buys and puts on the shelf and it's like, oh, that was pretty cool. We want it to be where people come in and they do the work and they actually build something of value. I mean, we literally put it in our name, community builders, because we want people, building a business, a lifestyle business that works for them. And I think the integration of the bootcamp just accelerated the success of so many people. They launch faster. they started to get a real growth plan in place. They actually started generating revenue. So I think the end result, if, depending what type of coach you are, what your niche might be, that boot camp method really is an amazing way to help your clients get results. And at the end of the day, that's what we want to do, is help clients get results, what you want to do as an expert. So it worked extremely well for us.
And, I think that just the model of doing something where you can be working together with your community towards a goal, and you're all kind of taking action together. We've seen that in a lot of what's working right now in communities is like a 30-day challenge. And if you have like a paid community, having the 30-day challenge, and you have a 7-day trial where they can come in, they can get started with the challenge. And then if they're kind of seeing everybody taking action, they're taking these many steps towards their goal, and they're starting to see results and actually get some momentum, then they're much more likely to stick around after that 7-day trial. And it's kind of the same idea as the boot camp, is like everybody is working towards the same goal, and there's a lot of accountability and people cheering each other on. And it creates tons of engagement in the community. So if you can implement something like that inside of your community, I think that's going to be we're going to see a lot of that happening in 2026, including us helping.
And by the way, I agree 100%, man. And I think that's the key, because at the end of the day, Sam was mentioning that one of the areas they want to fix in their platform is they feel like their algorithm for the discovery is not very good at all. And they've been very open about they did put time and effort into it. So I believe that engagement factor is super important. And what an amazing way to, one, help your clients get engagement, everything else, just as you described. So I think that's again, it's kind of the future. If we're to kind of see what's going to happen in 26, I think you're going to see, a lot of that for sure.
Yeah.
A couple other high points, we redesigned our accelerator program to just speed up the success of clients. We just launched that VIP where you get one-on-one coaching, but you get your entire system set up by us. It's really kind of done with you, but a lot done for you. And it's done so fast. I know you've done a couple of calls just this week for some of our early people, and I know they're just ecstatic about how fast things are getting done for them and how quickly they're moving. Because at the end of the day, guys, when you kind of think about, like business, right? You have all these systems that you kind of have to have in order to run a business. But the hard part is that most of us as coaches, we just want to help people, right? So if you're a fitness coach, you just want to help people get fit. If you're, if you help people recover from divorce, like you just want to help people recover from divorce. You don't want to worry about tech and building systems and that kind of thing. So we just kind of launched that. I think that's going to be huge in 26. I mean, we're literally setting up their organic, their paid traffic systems, scaling campaigns. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Obviously you can know more about it when you come into the community, but crazy things we're doing. I know your weekly call we added on Fridays, where we actually come in and you help them basically plan next week's post. It's just like this accountability of, like, again, getting things done. I think that was huge. We did our group onboarding call. So guys, I know this sounds a little odd, but we had so many one-on-one calls that we integrated this group onboarding call, and it's worked really, really well. People can come in, they can kind of be a little bit of fly on the wall. They don't necessarily have to engage. It's not the pressure of a one-on-one. So again, if you are getting a decent amount of calls, maybe consider a group onboarding. That worked really well for us.
Let's talk about that for a second. So
for sure.
One of the things that we teach in our program is like setting up your community funnel, your free community funnel, whether you're doing freemium or free to paid. We believe that everybody, when they're first starting out a community, should book one-on-one calls. I think that's a great place to start, even if you're selling your community for $9, because we believe that having those conversations with your ideal customers is going to help you to just give you a lot of data on, what they're struggling with, the problems that you need to actually solve in your community, the things you need to create in your community, why they're not buying, why they are buying. Lots of different information that's just going to help you in the long run to build a better product and have a better sales process. Plus, if you're trying to sell with a different mechanism, we'll talk about ours in a second, but like webinars or workshops or these automated systems, it's just going to be harder to convert those if you're starting out with that and you haven't had any of these conversations. It's always going to be easier to convert somebody on a one-on-one phone call than it is any other mechanism, period, end of story. So but what happened with us is we had such a good system that when people came in to book calls, we were booking like over 200 calls a month. And for me and Jeff to take all those calls, it's pretty exhausting. So then the next thing that you want to do is, once you have a lead flow coming in and you're booking all those calls, and maybe you're getting some lower quality calls, and not everybody's qualified, is we want to start to add friction to the process, right? And so we try to do that, and we put like a survey before the actual booking of the call, but we still got some, unqualified people coming in. So we could have probably added more friction, but what we wanted to try is a group onboarding call as opposed to one-on-one calls. And the reason for that is, first of all, we can book more calls that way because we're not limited by the salesperson's schedule. Like, really, you could probably only take maybe 5-6 one-on-one calls every single day without being absolutely exhausted. But instead, we can do a group onboarding call, and he can take, up to 10 on one call in an hour. And so we tried that method, and then basically we have this. Jeff can tell you more about that on it. I think we'll do a different call on that, but essentially we have a process, and then at the end we offer 7-day trial to our paid community, in addition to a call with Jeff, and then that way, and then that has worked really well to get people in on the 7-day trial, and then it's kind of up to our community to convert those people from a trial to a paid member. But what we have found is this group onboarding is converting way better than when we were doing our one-on-one calls. It's also less of an energy suck on us. And so that process we proved that it worked. And so we're sticking with that in 2026 as one of our main ways to convert people from our free community to our paid community. So just wanted to dig in on that a little bit more.
Yeah, no, it's great. And, again, I would say that if you are getting that flood of calls and you're kind of wondering on the quality, or if you're kind of feel like you're burned out, it might be something absolutely to
but start with those one-on-one.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to do one-on-one. I'll preach it till my death. You have to do one-on-one. You need to have great, data. Like, you need to know, are you getting the right people in the community? It's just super important. So also, this is just a fun thing. I just want you guys to know that Ron is the co-mayor of Atlanta and Skool. I just actually found out yesterday that I am now the co-mayor of Orlando.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. So, I think what it shows, guys, is if you just go all in on a platform and you integrate the community funnel and the community, into your business, and you just go all in on Skool, you're just going to see some great things happen. About 2 months ago, Sam was sharing specifically that people who are on the platform on average get about 20% of their members from the platform. This last week, that number has actually creeped up to 30%. Now, again, that's on average. There's no guarantee that, when you launch yours, you get 30%. But the idea is that Skool is growing so much that it is literally increasing the amount of members in, which is why these analytics coming very soon are going to be great, because you can see where they're coming from. And I think for you and I, Ron, as we've just been on the platform for a while, I know the very launch of Skool, you were on the very, 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 very beginning when Sam first mentioned it. We've gone all in on the platform. And in doing that, now we're all in on Skool, being the co-mayors and really trying to help not just grow what we do, but really grow what everyone else does, and grow the platform. I think that's important.
Dogs are going crazy. Yeah, totally. I agree. Yeah. So for anybody that doesn't know about the Skool in Real Life events, if you guys are just kind of new to the platform, haven't been on in a while, there's a dude named Goose. He's pretty eclectic dude, very cool guy. But him and some of his people on his team have been touring around the world, going to these different places and doing these and kind of planning these in real life events across the US and across really the world. They're actually ending their tour in Antarctica. So that's going to be their last. I'm assuming there won't be a mayor of Antarctica, but you never know. Might get some kind of penguin to lead that one. But so all along these little stops, they have recruited mayors based on like people that are, doing well on the platform and everything. And so when they came to Atlanta, myself and a guy named Martin Sims and Dylan, all are co-mayors of Atlanta. And so we had our first event this past weekend. It was awesome. I think people really enjoyed it. And now Jeff got news that he is the co-mayor of Orlando. So that's really cool. I'm going to be going down there, helping them out whenever they have their event. So we're really excited about that. So I think it's just good exposure. Really cool to just meet people in your local area that are also, I'm going to call them school heads. So.
Exactly. No, that's great. So I want to share a little bit with everybody in Ron, to kind of let people know what's happening potentially up in Elite ERP program, in 2026. I know we're going to be releasing, which I can't wait for, is the bootcamp version 3. Each bootcamp, for those of you that are, we spoke a bit about it, but kind of behind the scenes, what you need to know is that Ron literally builds custom AI tools that just fast track the process. And like each bootcamp, he just really refined them, getting even better based on obviously the data we have from the first one. So we have a releasing bootcamp version 3, probably sometime in January. So again, I don't want to put pressure on y'all, but you got about 14 days to get in on this idea that if you sign up for our Elite program for the year, before the end of this year, you can literally come for an entire year to the bootcamp. So you literally get 4 boot camps to come to. It's not that you need the 4, it's just that the tools are so much better and that type of thing as they come in. So anyway, what are your thoughts on the version 3, bud?
Yeah, things we're changing a little bit based off of what's been working for us, what we're seeing working in the space. And like I said earlier, we're really seeing people have a lot of results, getting a lot of good results from 30-day challenges. So one of the things that we're going to be implementing in the next boot camp is helping people to build their 30-day challenges. And we've actually built an AI tool that will build the entire thing for them. It will write all it will help them plan it. So it'll help plan all the days. It'll write all the posts that they're going to be posting inside the community. It will write all of the ad copy. It'll write the about page, so it's promoting the actual challenge, and it will write all the emails to promote it, write all the social posts to promote it. So that's going to be just 1 week. We're basically going to be able to build their entire challenge in 1 week. And then that's going to be kind of their engine for converting their free members into paid members. So really excited about the new kind of direction that I think is going to help people to get better results faster. And it's an easier way to start, faster way to start making money right off the bat, because if you set this up in your paid community, it gives you a way to bring people in for free for the 7-day trial, kind of like a lead magnet, right, into the paid community. And then if you get people involved in that 30-day challenge in that first 7 days to try it out, it's a high likelihood that they're going to continue after the 7-day trial. So it kind of fixes that. I don't know what to create for my community. I'm not getting any engagement in my community. I don't know how to convert people in my community and get paid members. It kind of solves all those problems that we hear all the time with our members. So I'm really excited about that new direction, and it's never going to be easier than right now to actually create that stuff and faster with these AI tools. So, I mean, it might get easier down the line when the AI tools are better, but right now, this is going to be the fastest and easiest way to build that thing. So I'm excited about that.
Me too, man. I'm so stoked for Bootcamp version 3. So I just can't wait for it. I know that, again, the results people get are amazing. So that's one of the things coming up. I know that we spoke about the idea. We actually teased a little bit that we might do an in real life event, community builders. We'll still work out some of the details, but that could be on the horizon. So keep eyes open for that. I know we're launching our premium tier, which is going to be ridiculous. So once again, getting back to this idea of AI, there's an amazing system that Ron has built that basically creates and does, for the most part, all of your content, all your creation ideas. It's insane. More importantly, though, it lets you monitor everything from it. So again, if you want to share a little bit about it, you can, or we
So basically, one of the biggest challenges that all community owners face, including myself, is traffic, right? And if you don't drive traffic to your community, you're not going to grow. If you can't grow, you're not going to convert, right? So you need people coming into your community on a consistent basis got two ways of doing that. You've got paid, which I think everybody should eventually get into. Some people are kind of on a budget. It makes it difficult, which I understand. But, if you look at it more like an investment and you're not just throwing money against the wall, I think, once you actually try it out and you get some results, it'll change your mind about it. But the other one is organic, and that really means creating content. And it's hard for people, especially when they're first getting started, to create content consistently. How do you come up with ideas? How do I write the scripts? How do I come up with thumbnails and images and things like that? How do I film it? And so that's what this tool is going to solve. I basically give them a step-by-step weekly routine that they go through and AI tools that help them to implement that step. So everything just becomes more streamlined and easier. And they just follow that routine every single week to create their content. And the machine kind of walks them through the whole entire process and helps them stay organized, streamlined, and just makes everything faster and more efficient. And so that's what we're going to be releasing to our premium members. And we're going to have 30 founding members. It's going to be a really good price for those people. So, if you're interested, let me know and I'll show you the tool, demo the tool for you. But I'm really excited about that one. I just think that it's going to help a lot of people to drive traffic, which is the biggest thing that everybody needs. That's, to me, the hardest part of owning a community and where most people fall off.
Exactly. No, I love it. And I know that's kind of the key thing that we've seen. I mean, having an opportunity to, work with, literally thousands of people trying to launch their communities. I think that's one area is like, how do I grow it? Like, how do I get people to do it? And so there's really only two ways. It's either organic or paid. And you have created an incredible organic system that people follow. There's no reason it shouldn't work. I mean, if they actually put in the time, put in the effort. So if you're interested in again, having a system that's, complete, that allows you to just come in, monitors you, creates automatic accountability and things like that, I would check it out for sure. So very, very cool. Yeah. Well, I know we've been, on for a little while here. So I just kind of want to leave you guys with a little bit of kind of a little bit of nugget, a little challenge, a little, exercise to do. If you guys want to kind of look back on 25 and kind of see some different things you did. So I'm a big believer that, we never lose. We either win or we learn. And so with that kind of in mind, I want to give you guys all a little bit of a challenge, a little bit of homework, shall we say. And here's just a quick exercise to do. Take a piece of paper for those of you that are analog people. If you're a note taker, that's fine. And I would literally just take your piece of paper. I'd put 4 sections in it. I kind of lean towards this idea of your spiritual life, your personal relationships, your business, and then your health. And I literally would just write down kind of a year in review, just some of the big key things, the positives, the wins that you had. So from the spiritual side, maybe you had a good year, so you're able to tithe more this year. Maybe you consistently read scripture. Maybe you prayed more often. Maybe on the personal relationships, maybe you got married this year. Maybe you celebrated your 10th year anniversary, whatever it might be. But write down these wins. And take some time to take it serious, because you know what, sometimes we kind of forget that in the day to day. We kind of get lost a little bit because kind of life gets in the way of life, right? So I would do that on the personal side. What's some big things that happened? This year my son graduated from high school. He got into UCF. He's had his first semester and he's still in there, which is great, and did really well this year. So those types of things. Obviously, business is a key element. Whether positives, you increase revenue, maybe you really help some clients get much better results. Maybe you finished a book you've been trying to get done, right? Obviously, on the personal side, the health side, I would say, maybe you lost some weight, maybe you ran half marathon, wherever it might be, but write those wins down. And from that, use that as kind of a guiding point to say, hey, this year was a lot more successful than maybe I realized, and have some gratitude for it, that you could actually do it. And then on the opposite side, I take that paper and I just kind of write some areas of opportunity. So maybe some of the lessons you learned, maybe the goal was to, maybe read your Bible more often. And maybe it turned out that you just weren't as able to do it. So I know for me, if it's in my calendar, it gets done. So maybe you integrate, and the lesson is that I'm going to put my Bible reading time actually in my calendar and treat it just like it was an appointment or whatnot. And so those are the types of things that might be. On the personal side, maybe, you got a little quick to be frustrated with your kids at times. I know my son can drive me crazy just because at that age, they know it all at 18, right? And so maybe you got to have a lesson learned. Just, hey, I got to take a deep breath. I got to step away, give a minute or two before I maybe respond to, something he did or whatever it might be. So obviously you get the idea, but I would put in some really good lessons. that you potentially learned. So those areas where maybe you didn't quite measure up to where you wanted to be, turn them into a lesson. Turn them into, okay, this is what I learned from that experience, and maybe not reaching that goal. And I'd write those down as well. And then of course that'll basically set you aside for really kind of planning your 2026. And speaking of planning your 2026, I would like to just ask you, Ron, what do you think yourself is one of the big things that you feel was a big win for 2025? And then what is something you're really looking forward to in 2026?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of our biggest wins was launching the boot camp. I just think it changed it helped us to grow. I think it also helped me to see that for even our clients that are trying to figure out what to offer, I know that live implementation adds value to your offer, helps people to actually implement, and helps people to get results. So I'm happy that it helped us to increase our revenue. I'm happy that going into 2026, it gives us another kind of offer to help people next year. It's also helped us to dial in our high ticket offer, where it's more done for you using this process that we've developed. So I think that was a big win for us. And I think as far as going into 2026, I think continuing with that and then improving it using this new process that we're going to be implementing in the next boot camp. I also think that just getting more of our high ticket clients, now that we have that kind of process dialed in, and we can help people to get everything set up really fast and easy, and the new premium program that's coming out. By the way, guys, if you are interested in getting everything planned and building your plan for 2026 before January 1st, where you're going to know we're going to basically map out your goals. What are your goals for next year? What is your revenue goal? And then we're going to reverse engineer how you're going to get there. We're going to reverse engineer what are you going to be selling? What's your offer? We're going to reverse engineer what's your conversion mechanism. So how are you going to get people to buy your offer? And then we're going to reverse engineer exactly how much traffic you need to be driving to your community every single month to hit those numbers. So we are doing a 2026 Skool profit planning workshop tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. So we'd love to have you guys join us. If you are interested in that, join our free community. There's a post pinned to the top of the community. You can comment on that post, and that's going to give you the information on how to register for that. We're also going to be giving everybody that's live a 2026 Skool planning workbook, so you can build out your plan with us live on the call. And by January 1st, you will know exactly what you need to be doing over the next 3 to 6 months to start, working towards your goals. All right. And so would love to see all you guys on there. I think it's going to be awesome. And really eye-opening to understand what it takes to grow your community. Like, it's really awesome to have goals, but those goals are created so that you know exactly what inputs you need to be doing every single month in order to hit that goal. And that's what we're going to be doing tomorrow.
Exactly. Yeah, I would just echo everything you just said. Like, you need to plan out what do you want to accomplish in 2026. You have to have a plan, and the workbook you put together is incredible. It's exactly step by step what people need to do. So be there tomorrow. You absolutely positively don't want to miss it. Go to the link, join the community. It's going to be streamed live on Skool with their cool live streaming feature that they just added this year. But aside from that, man, thank you guys for joining us. Have an amazing day. Ron, as always, appreciate you as a partner, but more importantly, as one of my best friends in the world. So thanks for sharing your time and all the input you had. Not sure, guys, if we'll be doing any more between now and the end of the year. Maybe we'll surprise you with one more live. We're not sure yet, just because they fall in on Christmas Eve and on New Year's Eve. So we're not sure we'll be doing more. So it might be we'll see you in 2026. But aside from that, man, y'all be blessed. Thank you guys for an amazing year and following us this time. And we'll speak to y'all very soon.
See ya. All right.